My friends, welcome to another episode of the Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast, brought to you by Mafia Sports Report. I am always Dr. Love, and of course, this man over here, I can't do it without him, but that's my man right there, Sauce Bronson.
Yo, light-skinned man. I am the light-skinned man with the ashy hands. The only reason why I'm here is because Doc has the plan. And also, let's give a shout out to my air conditioning unit.
Yes, his droid, basically.
Yep. This is the droid that I was looking for. And as far as that goes, it's going to continue to stay on until like November. So I've already made peace with my wallet. Yeah, I donate extra money to it every month because I refuse to be uncomfortable where I live.
There you go. That's how me and my wife are the same way. We basically said we will pay for it because we don't want to be uncomfortable. So, and of course, we already got a chat here from Papa Mafia. We got ourselves a yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Let me talk to ya.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll say it again. I'll say it every week. If you yes, you're right back.
Oh yeah.
So, and he's got another sentiment here. He says, "Bring back winter ASAP." You know what? Give me fall. I'll just take the fall at this point. But, I get what you're saying. Give us that cooler weather, sports for college football. Oh, that's the time we're talking about right there.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got another one here. We got CBM here. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yo.
Hey, thanks for you, man. Always. So bless you, Sauce. Bless you. So basically, we got there's a lot of wrestling kind of going on in general from now. I mean, until literally the end of August. A lot of times there's always something going on, but now a lot of stuff has happened over the past few weeks, going into SummerSlam in just like 3 weeks. So basically, last week we did have the Slammiversary show. Where we're not really going to go over super in depth on everything, but we are going to go over some highlights here and there that I personally thought were, or lowlights, if you want to say it too. And then we're also going to kind of go over the Ring of Honor has their show this Friday, their Death Before Dishonor show, and kind of go over the card for that. And then just anything else that, that's been popping up, our ideas and rumors for matches for SummerSlam, and as of now, confirmed matches as of yesterday. So basically, I'll start off with just Slammiversary for a couple things. One, Leo freaking Rush. Let's talk about.
Did not retire.
And let's talk about this guy, Leo Rush. And by the way, Leo Rush won in like a minute and a half. Yeah, because Saban got injured, all this stuff. Oh Lord! But it looks like we got Hassan Terrell, hi there. Hello. Thank you for watching us, join in with us. We always like everyone here. And we got Patrick G Mafia. Hello, folks. Hello. Hey, related to Mafia, right? Papa Mafia. I like it. I like it. Thanks, guys. As always, we always like talking with you guys about wrestling. Just chat with us. That's always a good thing. So, but Leo Rush, for God's sake. I mean, this guy really, we talked about it too. I was like, is he good? If he wins, he's gonna retire. He didn't go that far, but close enough. I mean, now he'll be at the show, the GCW show, the day before SummerSlam here in Detroit. And he'll probably have that belt with him. He'll have that TNA Impact Championship with him. Unless he, drops it, retires before then, and then unretires again. I think he wants to retire every group, right? Every group he wants to retire. I think that's the point, I think.
Let's see. Let's see. Hold up. He's retired from WWE.
Yeah.
He's retired from AEW.
Yeah.
He's retired from New Japan.
Yeah.
He's probably going to retire from Impact Zone again.
Yeah.
And then he'll retire as soon as he leaves GCW. He'll be, in Detroit. So for those who don't live in Detroit, there's a freeway literally 5 minutes away from the venue called I-94. And I promise you, before he gets on that freeway, he'll retire from there too.
Yeah. Let me talk to you. You got that right. We do have, there you go. Thank you, So from Patrick Mafia, we got, my family was a massive wrestling family. My grandparents liked it a lot. I still keep up with it. Reigns went on a good run. I mean, Reigns right now still is on a run. The whole storyline with the bloodline still is on a really good run. So love him or hate him, you can't deny that he's gotten much better over the past few years. You just cannot deny it. So, and I'll tell you right now, regardless if you hate him, everyone's acknowledging everyone. I mean, so there you go. And it looks like we do have another question here from Papa Mafia. Do you think WWE should have let Undertaker go undefeated at WrestleMania? Well, that's a lightning rod right there. So, Sauce, what is your thoughts on that?
Yes.
So, very, very eloquently put by Sauce.
Hey,
so,
real quick, Doc. I'm gonna go back to Patrick real quick. When you get a chance in the comment section, comment to us your favorite wrestler. I'm just curious. Yeah, like your favorite wrestler of all time, like your GOAT.
Yeah, exactly. So, but as for Papa Mafia, this question, you're saying yes. I'm saying yes. Yeah, I get it. It's hard to say. I guess here's my problem. If they wanted to have the Sting match, which they could have, he was there, and then they decided not to do it. That's a big problem. They could have done it, but I don't know. It didn't make sense to have him then lose again to Roman Reigns in the main event where no one had a championship. Sorry, that was like probably the worst thing they could have done. But no, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, no, he probably shouldn't have lost it. But that's about it.
Well, here's one thing we got to remember, boys and girls. Damn Man Taker, he has 2 losses at Mania, but American Badass Taker undefeated.
American Badass is undefeated. All right, looks like we do have a couple chats here. Looks like, let's see, we got Patrick again. We got the Bloodline bringing in Paul Heyman was a smart move for executives. Absolutely. If you have Paul Heyman as your mouthpiece, it pretty much can't fail unless they don't want to push you anymore. Cesaro is the big point on that. Cesaro, when he was his mouthpiece, and could have worked for it, but they didn't want to push Cesaro anymore. So that's not Heyman's fault. He was rolling there. And then we got Patrick with Tony Khan needs better storylines. He lacks there. Yeah, we talk about that once in a while, don't we, Sauce? A little bit.
My suggestion, Patrick, if you can find a way to email Cody Rhodes and find out what booking that he had left for AEW, and see if he'll give him, the rest of his booking ideas, because that's pretty much what happened when Cody Rhodes left AEW. All the smart booking went with him.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just got to get more consistent. That's my and it looks like he answered your question here, Sauce. Patrick, and Bret Hart and the Ultimate Warrior.
I respect that.
All right.
I respect the Bret Hart. He used to be my personal favorite until a man named Kurt Angle existed, and then now Kurt Angle's my GOAT. But shout out to you for the Bret Hart.
He also says Stone Cold and the Rock era was great too. And come on, you can't. I mean, you're the biggest gladiatorial fight of all time. These guys.
Well, here's what before I respond, Mr. Mad Chatter, welcome. Say Wolfpack is back causing mass. Oh, I don't know what mass.
It might be
mayhem.
Maybe mayhem.
that's what I'm saying. But to get back to what he was saying, as far as like the wrestling AEW is good. It's just the booking is just pretty much trash. Oh, and also when he was talking about the Stone Cold and Rock era, I think what makes it's two things that makes the Attitude Era probably the best era in all of wrestling. One, you had an era where instead of just one guy at the top of the food chain, you had two. First you had Hogan, and then after Hogan you had Bret for like 5 minutes. And then after that, you had then the Attitude Era, you had Rock and Stone Cold, two at the top at the same time, which has never happened again. And then after them, you basically had John Cena, and now you got Roman. So that's the first part of what makes Attitude Era so great. The second part of what makes Attitude Era, what made it so good as well, is that everybody from the top of the card to the bottom of to the Sunday Night Heat of the card, everybody knew their position and they made the best of what they had. Yeah. Like granted, you tuned in for the Rocks and the Stone Colds, but you also tuned in for the Mankind's, the Al Snows, the Hardcore Crash Hollies. Like there was somebody there for everybody. So that's the way I look at the Attitude Era.
Hey, I get you. I totally understand. I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, especially about the two top guys on the top. That doesn't happen now, right?
Yeah.
You have some people that are on that echelon of that where they can be that top guy, but it's also a little bit different now because of like how the smaller, I hate saying smaller guys, but the more mid-tier guys, some people can jump into that position. So. Yeah. I do have a fun chat here when we're talking about Undertaker's streak. It looks like CBM, but we wouldn't have had Undertaker fan with the bugged out eyes.
Listen here, CBM. Listen, we might not have had Undertaker bugged eyes, but we still got the Mean Miz girl. That's all we need.
Mean Miz girl. Yep. And it looks like we do have another one here. Let's see. Hold on a second. Thank you guys for all the chats, of course. Patrick says, a little Pat as a kid would run from my kitchen to the living room, moving the couch cushions up and down.
Yep.
And then, of course, nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. We love, I mean, who doesn't like nostalgia, and that's with everything in general, but wrestling, that's a huge thing. That's why we always excited seeing like a legend come back, even if the legend's like not going to wrestle. Then we're excited for even a little bit. Just for a little bit, if we see that. So
even if they're old decrepit fossils,
right? So, and then it looks like Patrick, you're talking about with the Ultimate Warrior as a kid, the entrance was amazing. Oh, of course it was. Like he was another big guy that was like not against Hogan because they were so hot. They were both faces, but he was on for looks wise. He was on par with them, but then he had a different entrance that no one else really did. Right. This guy looked like he shot up so much like cocaine right before and then ran out to the ring, like went ballistic out to the ring. So, but yeah, it was very entertaining to see it. And then looks like we do have, let's see, we got the Mad Chatter with Hollywood Hogan's son. Oh yeah, I've got you. So. Hey, who doesn't like Hogan? I mean, there's some people that don't like Hogan. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But look, Hogan, woo, I'll take American Hogan. I'll take Wolfpack. I'll take NWO. It's all fine with me. Just never wrestle again, though. Like, ever wrestle again. Like, if someone gives you a chance to wrestle, if Ric Flair says, hey, come on. No, do not. Do not do it. We're watching you. Oh man, that's funny. So let's see. Oh man. And then Patrick says, yeah, Undertaker frightened me as a child. Yeah. I mean that, and you know what? And that was a good thing because it wasn't like a horror thing, but it was scary enough. So that worked. That worked. And I remember it because it gave you like that poltergeist feeling a little bit with the electricity and the that kind of like unnerving self, and then like the dead man itself. It evokes what Halloween, the Michael Myers. It involves the idea of death. Come on. So
You know who scared the crap out of me? It wasn't Undertaker because I just thought he was cool and fascinating. The person who terrified me was Psycho Sid. It was just something about him.
the music,
I don't know why. As a kid,
that music they gave him, that was some because his face, he had that great like, I'm gonna rip your throat out face, and it worked, And then he went to WCW and he became the Millennium Man and wore a little hat that was too big, too small for his head, and it had a fanny pack in his promos.
And then he also broke his leg.
Ooh. Oh Lord, yeah. Oh well, yes he did, didn't he? But it does look like, wait a minute, we might have started a feud here, Sauce. We got the Mad Chatter with, I'd take Sauce and throw him against the rope. The rope, he says you bounce back and jog back to me, and then would stun you with a boot to the stomach, a stone cold stunner.
See, you know how this would really play out? You toss me against the ropes, but I slide out, and then what I do is I work the crowd, I grab my belt, and I pull, the cowardly heel, and I just walk around the ring and stall until my muscle comes out, or until my group comes out and does sneak attack, because I'm a cowardly heel champion, and I would never, ever, ever fight fair or allow the moment to happen. Listen, I will be I'll be a chicken heel, and from the sun up to sundown.
Oh my god, I love it. And then of course we have Mad Chatter with D'Lo Brown, because you're messing with the real deal now.
Shout out to D'Lo Brown.
I don't know how he didn't break his neck all the time. Just ask Draws though. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
R.I.P.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
But they actually isn't D'Lo Brown a producer at Impact now?
I believe so. I knew he was back in a few years ago, because I remember he would be one of the guys that came out like, stop the guys. I'm like, that's D'Lo. But talking about scary wrestlers, like we're talking about Sid, CBM brings up Dan Spivey as Waylon Mercy. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, that was definitely, look at what Bray Wyatt did, basically using a very similar gimmick that didn't really work then, the kind of Cape Fear work gimmick, but now it worked now. Well, with Bray Wyatt when he started doing it. But yeah, he was pretty demented looking. No, I'll tell you, it was hard to get like a good scary character to then be popular, right? There was and then we got Papa Shango was also cool. Papa Shango was cool. It's a cool little gimmick, I thought it was pretty fun. He was a workhorse though, right? Godfather throughout the years. He worked how many different gimmicks?
That man was the Mick Foley of his time.
He really was. Because could you imagine if he did the same thing at the Royal Rumble? How fun that would be. Like, he could have done it. Really, he could have.
Let's see. He would have had He would have had Papa Shango. He would have had what was the African one he did? Was it no? Was he Kamala? Was he Kamala?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he was Kamala, Papa Shango, and then he could have came out as fake Diesel because he could have pulled that off too.
He could have.
And then he could have came out as Undertaker Druid, and then right at the very end, all of a sudden you hear it's time to hop aboard the whole train.
Train.
And then somehow Sonny is his valet escort just because.
I love these. I have to read these together because it's pretty funny. So we have Patrick with Sid was a badass. Hogan was afraid of him taking Hogan's spotlight. Which, you gotta think too. Like, you're talking about Hogan seeing him in WWF, And now, WCW with all that money wanted to bring over these top big guys. Hogan was always just going to be that way. He wanted to be their top guy, so he's never going to. But the problem was Sid was past the point of how he was in WWF. He still maybe tall. He still wasn't in bad shape or anything. But going to the next thing, the one thing he lacked was his mic skills. At CBM's, I remember watching this. Sid 99 stating, "I'm only half the man you are." Yeah, at Starcade. So I'm talking about he had very bad mic skills. I think it was the little hat. The little hat was cutting off circulation to his head. I don't know, but and then Mad Chatter, the $1 Million Man, taught me important lessons about human nature. And yes, because what is that? Everybody's got a price. I mean, it was such a great gimmick, right? He'd pay off someone and then they'd leave. They're like, okay, whatever, let's go. Oh man. So that was pretty cool. So, but yeah, trust me, the nostalgia, like we were talking about, because that's what it is. If there's people that we remember fondly, it's always a fun time. It's always a fun time on that. But let's see, we do have a couple more here. Yeah, we got. Thanks, guys, because we definitely got all the chats. We like talking with you guys because, let's see, we got I'm sorry, Patrick. We got Patrick here. We said WCW Sid was a joke. Hogan had creative control. He didn't want to make Sid look good, and of course not. I mean, Hogan was always going to have that control regardless. So no one was ever going to get really pushed ahead of him. If your name wasn't Kevin Nash, if it wasn't Ric Flair, if it wasn't DDP, even for a little bit, you weren't going to get pushed. And then obviously the fateful Bash the Beach is where Booker T finally got to get the world title. And I mean, even Jeff Jarrett, you can say before that too, because Jarrett's always been the same way. Once he came back, he was like, he's the chosen one. Oh my gosh.
Or if he was David Arquette, I'm just saying.
And now we're talking about David Arquette. Now I need a drink. Hold on. Now I need a drink. Oh Lord. Oh man. But so let's see what we got here. We got look, so Mad Chatter now after all that beating you up. Let's go, Sauce. Okay, so he's back on your side, it looks like. So oh, that's fun. I like it. And then let's see. We also have Patrick. We got D'Lo Brown beat up Ahmed Johnson backstage. D'Lo was tougher than people thought.
I remember hearing about that story.
True. That's true for sure. I remember Ahmed Johnson. Well, Ahmed Johnson was just a big guy. He was horrible in the ring. He was just all popcorn muscles. Like he was strong, but he wasn't like really strong. So it does not surprise me if D'Lo would have whooped his ass if he pissed him off for something. You know what I'm saying? So. And then, of course, we do Mad Chatter with Scotty Too Hottie. Who couldn't forget that? Even my friend Andy, Dumpster Andy, he could do the worm. It's crazy. It was great to watch. Now I think he'd break a couple ribs if he tried to do it. But back, 20 years ago, he definitely could do it. And then we do have, let's see. Oh, we got CBM. We got, Kama, the fighting machine.
That's who it was, yeah.
Kama, yep. And then D'Lo's run in 2002-2003 was excellent. That was good. There was he had some good matches there where he actually wrestled there at the beginning of TNA Impact. So definitely check that out if you have a chance. So, but yeah. So again, thank you guys for all the chats. Again, we love hearing from you guys here. All right. And it looks like we do. Short-lived, Sauce. The Mad Chatter. Sauce would offer the olive branch hand, look into the crowd, and then shake hands. Then Sauce would pull me into a clothesline. Then the people's elbow. What a disgusting showing king.
I am the scum of the earth. Michigan's own scum of the earth.
This is fun. Oh, and then we got Mad Chatter. Dr. Look, you can fight me knowing full well you're gonna get your hay whooped, or you can select two of my finest. Godfather.
Once again, when you're the scum of Michigan, you know people, you have stables, and when you have stables, you never fight your own battles. That's what your cronies are for.
Right? Oh God!
And then I come out with J&J security.
Then CMB, CBM's great googly moogly. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So then, let's see, the Mad Shatter. We got it's criminal how bad WCW did not push Jericho. Yes, that's accurate. That's very true. That's ridiculous to this day. It's ridiculous, and the fact is, like, it doesn't make any sense because he was so over. You know, he was so over, and then that's why he basically was like, "Well, I'm gonna leave. Yeah, I'm gonna leave." You know, and then have one of the best debuts ever as a wrestler. Like literally one of the best debuts of all time. So
real quick, Doc. I saw something on the internet the other day, and they were talking about how Sting and speaking of Sting, WCW ended when Sting talked. I'll say it's a lot of things that caused WCW to go under, but yeah, I'll say that was at the bottom of the list. But as far as Sting goes, they were talking about how him and Ultimate Warrior, how they came up together as a tag team, went out, and of course Warrior with the WWF, and the rest is history. Now, Doc, what do you think how you think history would have gone had it been Sting that went to WWF and he had the Warrior gimmick?
wow, yeah, that's
Sting running down the aisle, and
that's a what if right there. Oh, here's the difference. He'd get down the aisle and he wouldn't blow up. He could actually still wrestle. So there's your thing. I'm gonna have to think about that for a second. That's a good what if, and that's a good idea for an idea for a new topic. Like in general, is for like a what if storyline and how it might play out. But it does look like Patrick had a question for us, both of us. He said top 5 divas. So now, just to make it clear, we'll just do WWF just to make it clear the WWF one. So,
because WWE.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that. Yeah, WWF, WWE. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, good. All right, Patrick. I'll give you. At least I know. Yeah. So Mickie James for me. I loved her when she first debuted, and she's still wrestling now, and she's still doing great, and still looks good. Like hasn't aged. It's insane. I really liked her. Really liked let's see, like Victoria a lot. Even when she went to Impact and everything too, but she's still doing good. Gosh, I like Jazz. I like Jazz in ECW. Then at that point, she was beating up male wrestlers with ease, so that was fun. And then going to some newer wrestlers, I really like Asuka. I really like Asuka for sure. I've liked her when she was NXT, and then she really proved herself. And now, hopefully, they're really going to push her more. Obviously, she's champion. And then I'll round it out with, it's hard, but I'll probably say, I know I'll get some Uggs on this one, but I like Sasha Banks. I like Sasha Banks. No, she got kind of a bad rap here and there for being, for botching moves here and there. But I mean, who hasn't? Male or female wrestlers? Come on. But I really liked her as well, and I just wish she would come back, honestly. But that would be my 5. So, what about you, Sauce?
So my number 1 of all time, everyone in America at me all they want, is definitely going Charlotte Flair. She went from being, that's Ric Flair's daughter, to now when you see her, it's that's instead of being Ric Flair's daughter, now she's known as basically the GOAT. Then, in no particular order, I'm gonna go Trish Stratus, Bayley during her NXT run. That was my favorite version of Bayley. Then I'll go Beth Phoenix. And then we need one more, so we'll go Oh, and then the last one I'm gonna go Shayna Baszler, but during her NXT run.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely talked about that. That makes the most sense. So So Patrick, there you go. And Patrick, give us your top 5 there too. So, but that's how I would look at it, honestly. I wish Mickey James was back, honestly. I really do. But oh yeah, so trust me, it's we love our wrestling, we love our nostalgia on it. Let me tell you. Let me talk to you. So oh my gosh. But I'll tell you one other thing, and I just have to say this because it's gonna make this guy, because we have this guy who comes on the show a few here and there. He was not particularly happy about the Impact main event, was he? Was he, Sauce? I don't think he was. So
I couldn't tell.
So he's not a fan of Alex Shelley, and not a fan of the fact that he retained against Nick Aldis at Slammiversary. But it makes sense now because it just came out that his contract was up with Impact. Slammiversary was, and then like the shows afterwards and stuff. That was it. His contract was up. So it's like he already, all the stuff that went bad with NWA, how they were treating him, and then goes there. I highly doubt he'd come to the WWE. I just don't see how he would fit in personally. I like him, but I was just upset. I was like, Alex Shelley, come on. But Josh Alexander came back at the show. He got injured. He was the longest reigning Impact TNA champion of all time. He got hurt. He had to drop the belt. So that's what I think is going to happen, is that he'll get the belt back from Shelley and in definitive matter. So, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't much else about it. Kushida won Ultimate X. That was good to see. I think we talked about that. I think you picked Kushida, now that I think about it. Or did we both? Yep, I'm pretty sure. And so that was good to see. And then Kenny King actually walked out with the Internet Championship or whatever, Digital Media Championship. That's my brother's one of his favorite wrestlers, Kenny King. The Chippendale, the Bachelor, Kenny King. So and looks like we do have we have Patrick's top 5 divas. Victoria, Stacy Keibler, Sensational Sherry, Deborah, and Trish Stratus. All right, I got some unique ones on here because you got some more valets on here, which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. A good valet is always good in my book, always.
Oh yeah.
So I like that. That's a good list. So especially with Sherry, because she was fantastic as a valet. She really was. And then Trish Stratus, of course. I mean, what she did starting off as a great valet to actually training them to wrestle. Yeah. So trust me, when there was Mickey James and Victoria and Jazz, Trish Stratus, when they were all wrestling, they had some banger matches. So, but yeah, so like I said, Slammiversary was what it was. There wasn't much else to say about it, honestly, except for Leo friggin' Rush. But I will say though,
you forgot the most important. Well,
oh yes,
I don't know if you're getting to this next subject. I mean, the next match, whatever. But the match that I called that no one else believed in me, except for myself, is
Miss Trinity. Yeah,
Miss Trinity.
Yep. She won. Yeah,
the lady of my heart, my future boo. Listen. We made it to the list of Trinity. Hold on. Trinity. We made it to the promised land, okay? No one else believed in you, but I believed in you. I believed in you. I did. And it's only because you went to a promotion. Now we want to see if you can book properly. You got the belt now. We're going to see if you can run with the ball. I got faith in you, boo. I got faith in you all day. You can do this. If nobody else in here believes in you in Michigan, it's me, okay? I mean, I'm sure Doc does too, but at the end of the day, I believe in you, okay?
Hey, you know what? They also gave him a lot of time. They gave her 15 minutes in that match. So I was only thinking that maybe there would be interference and it would set up for a longer, drawn-out storyline, but it actually makes sense, going forward that with her being champion. the name recognition. So yeah, I do like it. I do like that. And yeah, like I said, he picked it and he believes. Yep. And as Patrick says, he believes or he believes. What can I say? Who believes? But yeah, that was obviously the other big match and whatnot. I mean, there were some other matches here, and it was like they were fine, but it wasn't like I didn't really care about seeing Scott D'Amore wrestle. Come on, no one really cared about seeing that. But what I will say is, with the Ring of Honor show coming up this Friday, they only have 5 matches, but I think it's kind of per the usual. That's all they do now. Like because I remember like the show back in December. It had a lot of matches, but it had a lot of pre-show matches too. It had a lot of and so it depends on what they want to do. If they want to just stick a bunch of matches, like every title on the line again, which it doesn't hurt. But so far, these matches actually look good. So they actually just so Claudio was supposed to face Claudio, the Ring of Honor champion. He was supposed to face Mark Briscoe, but Mark Briscoe is injured. He hurt his knee. So right now they do not have. It's TBA. Is it TBA or would be it's like the biggest champion alongside Vacant of all time? So I mean, think about it. Really, I wonder who they would have for that spot. I really do. Eddie Kingston comes in. Come on, Eddie Kingston. You're already fighting Claudio before. Come on, you want it. That would I'd mark out for that. I would.
Listen, I hope. Listen for the rest of 2023, if Eddie Kingston fought in every pay-per-view for the belt, I wouldn't be mad. And he would lose every single time, but the Mad King, I wouldn't be upset at all.
No.
Hell, that man can show up. My dream at this point is for him to just randomly show up at GCW and just cause havoc.
Yeah, no, that's something. There you go. I'd like to see that. Oh my God, what if? I mean, it wouldn't happen because he thinks of himself too much on the indie scene. But what if Matt Cardona came in? They announced him to face Claudio for the Ring of Honor title.
You talking about the who he now calls himself as the Indie Taker?
Yeah, the friggin' Indie Taker or whatever. Oh my gosh, he just wants that heat, man. Right? He just wants that heat. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that match. So we don't know who it's going to face Claudio. You go from there. I'm just joking about Cardona, but it could be really anybody at this point. They do have Samoa Joe defending his Ring of Honor Television Championship against Dalton Castle and the boys. I mean, it's just Dalton Castle, but you got to say the boys too. So, I mean, it's good to see that they're bringing, having these original Ring of Honor guys like Dalton Castle. I don't see him winning. I mean, Samoa Joe's just going to have a stranglehold on that title, So I just don't see who would beat him, right? I really don't. But it might be a good match. I was a fan of Dalton Castle in Ring of Honor days, so looks like we do have a couple chats from Patrick. We got the Briscoes were the reason I was watching the NWA last year. So, hey, I mean, we watched their match back in December, the dog collar match against FTR, and that was like in their 3rd match they had. I mean, that was great. Except the dog collar kept falling off of what's Chase neck. So he's sitting there like, I got to put it back on. But yeah.
And I was going to say, like, I knew about the Briscoes here and there, but it wasn't until I went to GCW. I want to say last year, they did the main event, and it was a scaffolding match. And thank God New Jack was nowhere around when that happened. That's why the match went off pretty well. So, but
yeah, it would have definitely been hard for him to get to that match, I would say. I would say so. He's in hell with mass transit punishing him for eternity. So,
I'd say hopefully he's somewhere in hell where he's taking Canada Man. He just threw him off like a 100-foot scaffold. I say just watch him break his neck and just repeat it over and over and over. Yeah.
Then if you think about it, he'd probably be like one of the best down there for torture. They're like, hey, you got to go over here now. Go take care of this guy. Oh, nope. Hold on. Go over here. Got to take care of this guy. He's like, I got a job, But another one here from Patrick. We do have hopefully Mark gets the Ring of Honor title once he's healthy. I'd say that makes sense. I mean, I personally believe that that's what will happen. Honestly, I mean, it makes sense to me, and I'm all about it. I think it would be a nice gesture to do that. So hopefully it does. But then let's see. I think they announced. Oh yeah, so they have Katsuyori Shibata versus Daniel Garcia for the Pure title, which I'm fine with it. I mean, I love Daniel Garcia because who doesn't like who doesn't like a good Daniel Garcia?
Oh yeah.
Come on, Sauce. You know. Hey, you know what? He makes me laugh every time. But
But I will say this: if there was any match, I would say if there was any potential show stealer match of the night, it's definitely this one. We
yeah.
put these two in the ring. Oh yeah, they tear the house down.
Oh yeah, especially with the pure wrestling rules. I am a fan of it. I was a fan when they brought it out years ago, but just it didn't really catch on because it's like that hybrid type wrestling of Japanese style, American style, but it worked. And they take care of it. They got their refs. They're right there. Jerry Lynn is one of the refs usually. So, so yeah, that's going to be a good match. And then actually, this just got added yesterday. We have Athena, who's still Ring of Honor Women's Champion, versus Willow Nightingale, who's on this meteoric rise right now, basically.
Yep.
Former New Japan Strong Champion. She just won the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I could totally see them keep pushing her right now and have her win that Ring of Honor title. So from Athena. And maybe start a feud, maybe start some kind of feud with her on that. But I personally think that's a good move to put Willow in that match because people are behind her. Fans are really cheering for her after watching the matches on this past Saturday, like Collision. They were really like cheering for her. Like it wasn't like not really cheering. They were cheering good for her. So I'm for that.
So Doc, would you say right now, if you had a candidate for breakout performer of the year, will it be Miss Nightingale?
For like the women, yeah, I'd say for sure. I'd say for sure her. I'd also have to say Sky Blue has to be in there too. But she mostly was like the second half of the middle half would be when she kind of kept started as opposed to like earlier in the year. But I definitely have to say I'd say Willow I'd say Willow. I would, yeah, because it's one of those things where you have the women's wrestling pretty much everywhere has gotten so much better, and it's a good thing for everybody, and it's entertaining for wrestling fans, and then the wrestlers themselves. They don't like there's women that aren't as developed. We all know that. Come on, but then there's more that are developed to wrestle, and there's over in Shimmer and Stardom over in Japan. Where some people want to stay there. Mariah May, she's really good over there at the Shimmer. She reminds me of like Tiffany Stratton here in NXT a lot with her look, but then she kind of like, I'm the Barbie looking girl, but I can whip your ass, But then you got like someone like Willow Nightingale, who's a little bit bigger, but all that reminds me of is like Awesome Kong, who could destroy you, Now here's the thing: she is riding this kind of Bailey NXT high right now. Like her gimmick is very Bailey NXT. Like her face, it's very like the colors and the Willow. We love her, and that works. And it's good at staying working. But the second that starts working, they have to turn a heel. Like because no one wants to stay face that long with that type of gimmick. I'm sorry, the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men that Bailey had. They but it was back when she destroyed the machines. That was the best. She's like, get out of here. But yeah, I'd say I would give her breakout star for sure. Breakout star of the year. So that's a good one right there, Sauce. But yeah,
I mean, she's going on a like Nightingale. She's going on like a Kurt Angle type rookie season, like the way she's going. You
Oh,
know,
she absolutely is. Let's see. It does look like so. The last match that's so far announced, that's confirmed. Again, tomorrow's Dynamite, so they'll probably confirm. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 more matches, but let's see. We do have before we say that, we do have a couple chats here. We do have Patrick. We do have women's wrestling is a good spot, and then looks like we do have a. Oh, sorry, come on, where'd it go? There we go. Then we have, looks like we have a new person. We got Curvin Abreu. And he says, well, please stop lying to yourself. Women's wrestlers never draw, always going to be a bathroom break. Back in the day, maybe. It's not the same now. It's definitely not the same now. It's definitely back, what? The Divas era, Divas Championship era, yes. Back even earlier than that, before Trish Stratus was a wrestler in like 2000, before that, yes, it was. And yes, there's always going to be boring matches. Like, well, let's take this right now. The Night of Champions. Night of Champions had 3 women's wrestling matches on it, right? One of them was actually okay. The other 2 were like, why are we here? So they're not always going to be, entertaining. There's been plenty of men's matches I've went to the left and went to the bathroom and was not interested in. Sauce can attest to that. I know he's done the same. There's some match that's like, I'm out. Let's go to the bathroom because we're going to SummerSlam in Detroit. So if we have to go to the bathroom, we have to say, okay, which match is going to be the bathroom break? Possibly, And so I'd have to say that it's not always the same. There's very good wrestling and women's wrestling and Impact Wrestling and New Japan and Stardom, Shimmer, Ring of Honor. Whether you're watching it now, whether you don't like the wrestling, then that's their own opinion. But like I said, It's not all, trust me, it's not always a bathroom break all the time.
So here's my thing about that as far as like, yeah, I do agree back then. Yeah, it was definitely bathroom break worthy. But as far as women wrestling now, I mean, it definitely holds its own where, yeah, as far as putting the words bathroom break is, I wouldn't even look at that as synonymous in the same sentence now. I mean, you look at Bayley versus Sasha Banks. What was that? NXT New York. I want to say NXT New York back in
Takeover.
The Takeover. I want to say that was like what, Takeover 2016. I mean, that match still holds up to this day against. I mean, you can put that match up against most of Roman's matches right now, and it holds up better than as far as Roman's matches. You can put that match up against what Brock Lesnar's done since he's came back, and that match probably still holds better. What's another? I'll say pretty much any top match that Charlotte Flair has done. I'll say that woman could wrestle circles around men right now. Let's say and look at look at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley when she gets in the ring, I say she kills it. And I think what it is, as I said before, women's like the way women's are now. Well, I should say women's this generation. They started off as fans of the product, and versus the Divas time, just some models that just knew how to do the splits, and they come in and waste about 6 minutes of our time. So, I mean, but as far as and then I would say to Kevin, and obviously everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I would say with Kevin, go watch Impact, go watch the women Impact Wrestling. The women have been killing it for like the last 15 years. For a while, Impact Wrestling was the gold standard of women's wrestling.
That is true. It looks like has a very similar point of view. I would invite Curvin to check out FMW women's matches from the early to mid 90s. Women's matches in the States today are just getting to this level now, which is absolutely true. Some brutal matches there, and I would not be on their bad side. And then it looks like we also have, let's see, we do have a Chad Smith in the house. Hey, Chad. Check out women's matches in GCW. Those girls are workers. And then, of course, we do have Yeah, we got. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And of course, if you yes, well, yeah, you're right back. So thanks, Chad, as always. But yeah, I mean that's basically how I look at it on that. And I saw us. I mean, we all have our own opinions in wrestling. That's
Oh yeah.
completely fine. But definitely check out some of these other wrestling matches that we've mentioned, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised in what you see. So, it does look like for the there you go. Sorry. So for the last match announced so far, and they just announced this today, and I'm pretty excited about this one. It's a fatal 4-way tag match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Your champions are the Lucha Brothers versus the Kingdom of Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, and then Aussie Open, Fletcher and Mark Davis. That's gonna be a good match right there. That's gonna be some high flying moves there. I think we're gonna get new champions. Personally, I think they're gonna Lucha Brothers, and I like Lucha Brothers a lot, but I think they're gonna drop the belts. And it's hard to say because they could, be in the Ring of Honor titles, they could drop them the Best Friends. Then they could also drop them to the Aussie Open. Could do that. Bring Mike, the Will Ospreay back in. It's hard to say, but I think it's going to be a good match. If they can give them 15 minutes for that at least, because it's not going to be a elimination. It's just going to be fatal 4-way. So, but yeah. So, what do you think about that, Sauce?
No, I mean you pretty much hit every nail on the head as far as that goes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So, actually, I'm not sure if you have NXT on because I think tonight it's supposed to be Dominic Mysterio versus Wes Lee for the North American Championship tonight.
Yeah, like they were doing a couple. They just did about 2 minutes ago. They did like a little backstage segment. So it's on mute. So we'll see what happens.
I'm telling you, you want nuclear heat. If you want to just continue the heat, give him that title. Because here's what it is. So apparently they already have it booked. At the end of the month on the 30th is the NXT Great American Bash.
Right.
So they have 2 matches. One match they have is Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes for the world title. And they have Mustafa Ali versus whoever is the North American champion out of Wesley and Dominic. I'm telling you, it would be great to have Dominic win that title and then have him on that card and then he lose to Mustafa Ali, right? Like he would lose it. Like it would be because they're obviously pushing Mustafa Ali. It's hard to give him much more emphasis, but they have been putting him on shows here and there, and it's like that would be a good thing to give him. And it would even be, but because Wesley's had a very respectable time as champion, he's been champion,
I agree.
And so it would just be nuclear heat, though. Like I said, we love our nuclear heat as we are on this, you can see, but if they gave Dominic that championship, I'm telling you, oh man, I don't even know what to say about it. But so yeah,
if I was there in the arena, I'd just be like, everybody, let's start the way.
Oh my.
Arena just starts doing the way as he's holding up that belt. It's like the troll. It's like a troll on top of a troll moment. Oh man.
Right. Patrick says, we got Patrick here. Dominic has a lot of potential. He's funny and he can wrestle. And that's the thing. He obviously had a lot of good teachers. He really did growing up. Once he started to want to wrestle, I mean, he had all people to help him along with his dad. And it's in the wrestling business that was like, oh, look at little Dominic. He's not so little anymore, And but the second he went heel, and then it's just continuing with the heel heat, it's just so good. Like it's all so good. I don't think there's anybody more like Logan Paul. They hate him, but they hate Dominic more, and that tells you something.
Yeah.
Because
the thing is, when Logan Paul talks, people still let him talk. They boo. When Dominic talks, oh yeah, but the way they boo him is like the Monday, the Raw at the Mania when Roman Reigns he came fresh off of that terrible match with Undertaker that he won.
Oh my gosh!
And the way that they booed Roman, they booed him for like that 20 minutes. That's the same type of boo Dominic gets every week.
Yep. Oh my gosh. God, now I'm like remembering that now and how crazy ridiculous that was. Oh man. But so that's basically kind of like so far for Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. And I mean, it looks like a good show. And I know they're going to probably add a couple more matches. I mean, they do have the 6-man tag team belts, which honestly at this point should just probably be discontinued. They don't really need them because there's not enough people on the Ring of Honor roster to make that work. So they have the world title, TV title, pure title, and they've got all their boxes checked there. You know, if they add anything, they add maybe a match, maybe a 2, another one, but 5 matches work as long if you give them the time for it. You know, that works. That perfectly works for it. So I'll have to wait and see for it. But based off what I've seen so far, Mad King, like Eddie Kingston, come on, face Claudio. You know, he just won a belt in New Japan too. It's one of the Neverweight belts, championship, I believe it was. And it was like, oh, I was so excited because he actually won a championship. You know, you were saying like he'll lose every time. Not this time, man. Not this time. Put them in a dumpster match, a back alley match, and it's like we got 2 big dumpsters fighting against each other. Oh man, now I would definitely pay to see that. But so yeah, you know, obviously we know that's Ring of Honor. Now we were also talking because in the next few weeks, SummerSlam's coming up, and we've been mentioning that because it's here in Detroit. And we're from like right outside Detroit, in the suburbs and whatnot. But it's like what 15 minutes away from us for Ford Field or so. 15.
So where we live, so yeah, well, that's about right. So like where we live, we stay about 20 minutes, well, about 15, 20 minutes south of Detroit.
Yeah.
And so we live in Down River.
Mm-hmm.
So Down River is pretty much, you know, it's a freeway, 15-minute freeway ride from downtown. So
Yeah, and we're happy where it's back at Ford Field, you know, event. We haven't had a wrestling event there since WrestleMania 23 that Sauce went to back, you know, so he was actually there.
Fun fact, boys and girls, I waited 26 hours for my tickets. I stayed out there all morning, day, noon, night. It rained just a little bit, but you know, I say mama didn't raise a quitter. At least before my 30s. And yeah, 26 hours later, I was first in line. And let me tell you, I was 15 rows away from the ring and I was right next to the ramp. I got to see Shawn Michaels' nostrils. I got to see firsthand the drip on Undertaker, the trench coat, aka the duster, if you understand Sunny in Philadelphia, the hat, everything. Yes, I got to see. I was like 4 feet away from seeing Batista's pecs just going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Me being WrestleMania 27. I'm sorry, WrestleMania 23. That happened in 2007. WrestleMania 23. Me sitting there is still the happiest moment of my life. Still the happiest. 16 years later.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember that day very well because I was always having people over for shows, and half of our group wanted to go, and the other half were like, "Well, if you're going to win the show, we'll watch at your house." And I was even the day of, I was still on fence because I could have bought, you know, pretty expensive like nosebleed seats, or here and there was a couple other seats I could have got, but I ended up not going. But still, a few people come over and watch the show at the house, and it was still a good time. But I'm glad you got to go, man, and you got real money. This man got real money. When Donald Trump got real money, he got some money, got some cash money. So
Donald Trump blessed me from the sky with money, and I got $130. Yeah, I think it was like either 120, $130. So basically, I almost got my ticket half off.
There you go. I mean, that's actually a good way to put it, man. But yeah. So with SummerSlam coming up, it looks like with Patrick says, probably number 3 of the WWE pay-per-views, from what he was saying. And then he was like Rumble 2, Mania 1. And, we've been talking about that a lot. Like WrestleMania is always like WrestleMania, but the Rumble, man, I love Rumble. So I'm with you. I'm kind of with you on that because of good Rumble is very entertaining. But if you have a bad Rumble, puts a bad taste in your mouth for like at the start of the year. So, but with SummerSlam, obviously there's a set that we already kind of had the idea of penciled in matches, but they just confirmed yesterday on Raw, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar 3 is happening. Now, there was no stipulation yet. Most likely, it's very heavily rumored it's going to be a bull rope match, which if people aren't familiar with how a bull rope match works, it basically means that they are tied together by the wrists by a basically long bull rope. You have to incapacitate your wrestler and then hit all 4 turnbuckles in a row to win the match. You don't need the pin. You don't need to make them submit. You just have, unless you're Hogan in WCW, because he pinned them and then did that, and then they pinned him again. They won again. Yeah, that was a Hogan thing. He had to do it. He had to make sure he won. That was his thing. But the bull rope match actually works in that favor because, in a sense, they don't have to lose to that 5. Don't have to lose to the Crossroads. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to get pinned. So a bull rope match, we haven't seen one in a while. With JBL, I believe. JBL and Guerrero would probably, I believe, is probably the last one that I can remember.
So are we saying? So my question, Doc, are we saying? So when it comes to bull rope, does the 4 corner lights are included in the bull rope, or is that a different type of match?
So in a sense, the bull rope was just hitting the top turnbuckle. That was how it was. So like you would have him on the ground, then you hit the top turnbuckle, then go turnbuckle, turnbuckle, and then once you hit that 4th one, but if you were broken up, it broke up the whole thing. So, and of course, BBM, sometimes I know what to say. The apple pie strap match. God. Wait, hold on. I need another drink. Hold on. Another beer. Another beer. Jeez.
So I remember the Guerrero match. That was really good bull rope match. But I remember the one they did on SmackDown with Batista and JBL. Batista, he proceeded for like 12 minutes. He just beat the brakes off of JBL for like the first 12 minutes. Just going back and forth. JBL trying to get the upper hand, but Batista he was taking that man to Pound Town. Yeah. And then, so at one point, he had JBL tied up, so JBL stopped running. And Batista would hit the corner, and then JBL would hit the corner right after him. And he did all 3, and the crowd was like, no. And then they get to the 4th one, and JBL tried to outsmart him by like running towards the to the last turnbuckle, and Batista had to grab him and pull him. And then, this Batista bomb hit, and then everybody went home happy.
See, and that's crazy. Yeah, that's the one I didn't really remember that one. But I remember like parts of it. Like I remember reading, like seeing parts of that, like what you were saying. Yeah. But that's funny. But that's heavily rumored to be the stipulation for the match for them. And I'll give it one credit here. I bet Lesnar was here to do an entire feud. He did this entire. He's gonna finish the story of this feud, right? With Cody Rhodes, and I'm fine with that. Whether if he goes and leaves or whatever he does, but Cody's winning the match, and that's why a strap match works in his favor. Obviously, it harkens back to his dad. When he's definitely been in those type of matches, it makes the most sense to do that because Lesnar again doesn't look bad because he's not pinned. So to him, he's gonna be like, that's the win-win for me. Yeah, I don't look bad. But so we'll see how that goes. Now, the other match that just got confirmed yesterday, which I was happy because it wasn't on the pencil ideas of matches, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor in the rematch for the World Heavyweight title. Now, whether or not we get Demon Finn Balor, probably not. I mean, I think I wish they would, but I don't see it happening. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Sauce? Like, do you think Finn's gonna pull out this win? Do you think Damian Priest is gonna come out and like they're gonna be more dissension between them? Or I
What do
know,
you think?
I know.
Because part of me wants to quickly just say, nah, it ain't gonna happen. And obviously, we want to do like a eventually we're gonna have a official preview show for this.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna say right now, I would say obviously Seth will retain, but there's a part of me that thinks that maybe Finn could win. Then Priest comes out of nowhere, cashes in on Finn, and then the whole fourth field just goes up. The whole fourth field just blows the roof off and just craze. So right now, let's just go with Seth Rollins walks in, and then 16 minutes later retains.
I like it. I like it. I think that is probably the smartest move. Whether or not Damian Priest does try to cash in or not, I mean, it's going to be interesting how that's all going to come out to play, honestly. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there's other matches that are going to happen. Gunther is called out McIntyre, so that's definitely going to be made into official match probably by next week, and I'm all for it. That match right off the bat is going to be, as JR would say, that's a good old slobber knocker. They're going to be.
Don't be surprised, Doc, and everyone out there in the wrestling world. That match is going to happen, but don't be surprised if that's a match that's on SmackDown before SummerSlam and not on SummerSlam itself.
Wow. See, that would.
I'm just saying.
Oh man.
I'm just saying.
I would be so hurt if that wasn't on the actual show, because I get what you're saying. I do, because they don't put the Intercontinental title too many shows, but being top 4 show, I feel like, man, you gotta have it on there. You really do. But you're right. Well, we'll have to wait until it's officially announced, and over the next week or two, everything else will start getting kind of solidified. Whether or not Roman Reigns faces Jey Uso, which is obviously that's heavily rumored. That makes sense based off of everything so far. So, and Jey Uso wins because he's main event Jey, babe.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. If Jey Uso walks out a 4-field champion,
he's speechless.
I would be literally speechless because that'll be the first time I will witness a championship from an underdog come out of 4 field.
Oh my gosh. oh no. That hits hard. That hits hard at home for us Lions fans. So, but but no, that place would erupt. They would erupt. They would lose their mind. No, I feel like that match is going to have some visual pins where refs distracted or knocked out, and Jey could get the pin, but the ref's out, and then that's as good as we're going to get. We're not going to get. So it is what it is, though. But yeah, so like I said, with everything kind of going on, we do have a lot of stuff, and then the shows, and then what'll happen is next week, 2 weeks. Will be the week before, I believe, right? So before SummerSlam, we'll have our full preview and everything, because at that point, I would assume the whole show should be ready to go. But there's also a lot of other cool stuff, like GCW has a show downtown Detroit on the 4th, the day before. So
I'm debating on going to that. I'm really, really debating.
Jeff Hardy will actually be there and have a concert. Yes, a concert, because that's what we wanted to hear. Jeff Hardy sing or try. So, let's see. We got, let's see. We do have Patrick with the Lions might make the playoffs this year, and I'm a Bills fan. Yep. Hey, you know what? I have good hopes from making the playoffs this year. I do. I really do.
So, here's what I'm going to say about that. I appreciate everybody having support. Some people show love and support to my football team, but I just always feel in the back of my mind, the Lions not winning the North will be the most Lions thing ever. Because when everything's set on the table, the Lions will fall over and knock that table over with everything on it. So
Right.
I'm keeping my emotions in check. Oh, like I know we're supposed to talk about wrestling, but on paper they should win 11 games. Actually, they should win 12 games. But um, until I see it, I still say Ricochet has a better chance of winning the WWE title before the Lions win the North.
Oh,
Yeah.
and we do have CBM here with Jeff Hardy needs to be Willow with his umbrella at GCW. That would be ridiculous. And then you know what? I'd be all for it because they would love his ridiculous gimmick like that. Come on. Oh my God. And then we do have Patrick with scar tissue. I understand. Man, you know what? He looks like if you're a comic book fan, there's a villain called Mr. Zaz in the DC universe. Yeah, Mr. Zaz has got scars all over his body. That's how Sauce feels every year. One more loss. One more loss. So
still hurts.
It still hurts.
Still hurts every Sunday after 4 p.m. Still hurts.
Oh my gosh. But so that's pretty much how it is right now when it comes to the wrestling kind of world right now. And next week we'll definitely have we'll talk more about upcoming shows, kind of go over what happened with Ring of Honor. Tomorrow we do have AEW has their Blood and Guts show. Blood and Guts has always been kind of a fun, kind of like, hardcore. What's the best way I can describe it? Because it's 2 rings, so it reminds me of War Games, but it's hardcore, whatever. So we'll see the Golden Elite versus the Combat Club, Blackpool, whatever they're called. Blackpool Combat Club. So should be entertaining, but we'll definitely keep you posted on that. And then it does have now. Hold on, we do have another chat here from Patrick. I'm a Maple Leafs fan, and goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Patrick. I'm sorry. It's always Patrick said this. I'm a Maple Leafs fan. It's hard. They always lose in the first round, and if the Leafs won the cup, the city would shut down for a week. Now, Patrick, as you can see up top there with my owl, the octopuses, and I have many other things. I am a diehard Red Wings fan. So it's good that you like an original 6 team. It is. But your team got out of the first round this year. They did. So that's good. But you're right. Trust me. Maple Leafs. And then they just got our Tyler Bertuzzi, who went to Boston. Now he's with you guys. So let's see what happens with Toronto. And now we have the Mad Chatter with Lions will win the division easy. We hope. Again, and then Lions and Vikings too. So,
listen. Here's the thing: Lions have had. I know we're supposed to talk about wrestling, but once again, Lions have had multiple chances to win the North, and that bubbling idiot who wore number 9, who basically went down and took his talents to LA, and basically took the was hand pretty much was I want to say handed the championship. He did kind of I guess I'll say he kind
of someone's feeling
he kind of earned it.
He was a little soft.
But that bumbling idiot who wore number 9 for us, it was so many chances where we could have won the North, and we just let it blow up in our face. Especially that one year. I know this is supposed to be a wrestling podcast. But that one year, I want to say it was like 2015, 2016. Aaron Rodgers was hurt. Christian Ponder existed. I couldn't even tell you who the Bears quarterback was. And you had Matt Stafford. The path was literally, it was paved with gold for them to for the Lions just walk in, just take the North. Nope, they pretty much crapped the bed on the whole December, and yeah, we were just sitting at home in January, or watching all the other reindeers play.
Oh man. So yes, he definitely still remembers.
Yep.
Remember. So, but going back to it a little bit. So one thing that we usually do on our show, when we talk about wrestling, and is we usually have what's called the heat of the week, and in wrestling terms, heat obviously is usually a bad thing or good if you're a heel, obviously. But how we always like to use it is whatever you thought the past week or so, wrestling wise, wrestler, a promo, a match, so anything they did that was good, in your opinion, and then that would be your heat of the week, and that's what we basically do here. To kind of like round out the show. So, Sauce, throughout this past week, what would you go for your heat of the week?
Oh, heat of the week is definitely my lady, my boo, Miss Trinity Fatu. She is the wind beneath my wings. She is the she is the Super Bowl to my Lombardi, and I wish that she goes on a 10-year run with that belt and never ever loses it. But she's actually I just watched something earlier. I mean, I was looking at something earlier where she's one of the only 4 women in pro wrestling to have held WWE champion, the WWE championship, and TNA champion. I mean, TNA Impact champion. So the only other people who have done it is Gail Kim, Mickey James,
Yep.
and Victoria.
Yep, absolutely. And there's some good wrestlers right there. Gail Kim, it took until she went to Impact to really find herself more. But I get what you're saying. That's a good list right there. That's a good pick. For me, it's definitely gonna have to be FTR, because this past week on Collision, they fought against Jay White and Juice Robinson in a best 2 out of 3 falls match on Collision. It was 58 minutes long. They gave them 58 minutes, an hour of their 2-hour show to wrestle, and FTR came out victorious. And this was it was a fantastic match. I mean, I couldn't believe I was watching this on TV. But again, going back to what they need to do on this third show, they need to get viewership in there. So now the idea that, oh my God, I could see this good of match on Collision. What are they going to do next week? What are they going to do weekend? So it was a great match. Definitely check it out if you have a chance to, check it out, though, however they do replaying, or because it's TNT on demand. Somehow it was a really good match, though. And because I kind of walked into it about 5 minutes into the match, watching it, didn't know it was 2 out of 3 match until they announced it. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe it'll be like 30 minutes match, maybe. And then it was kept going. I was like, what is going on? But it was a very good match. FTR, as Patrick says, FTR is a great team. They really are.
Oh yeah.
They really are. But so yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we do when it comes to heat of the week. And pretty much that's it. But honestly, Sauce, unless you got anything else, we're gonna kind of round out the show today. So I see what I see, my friend. I will say one thing. Thank you for everybody for chatting with us, because again, if it wasn't for you guys, we've been just talking with ourselves and just to the internet's here and yelling at TK, Tony Khan, giving us our golden ideas that he never uses. But that's giving the stuff away for free. But
coward.
But yeah, so basically we'll be back next week. We might come up with some kind of specific type topic. Nothing set in stone yet, but we will be coming up. You gave me a good idea. Might end up doing it. A what if episode of wrestling. So we do have our like I said, all of our social media stuff. We're on Facebook, Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast, just like it is. Type it in, you'll find our picture, our good mugs there. We're on Twitter under the same name. Basically, look it up, you'll see our nice faces, our logo, and Instagram as well. This guy right here runs the Instagram. He does a good job on that. And then just comment, chat with us there. It's all good. But what I'll say is this, keep watching wrestling. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for all the chats. And all the yeahs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. And
Oh yeah, shout out to Mr. Patrick, and shout out to Mr. Mad Chatter. We
yeah,
definitely appreciate new guys chit chat with us tonight. You got
exactly.
I say you guys been the real MVP tonight.
Yes, thank you. And hopefully we see you next week. Again, 8:30. We'll probably do a what if version of the show. So if you guys come back, so let us know. Oh, it looks like Hassan. Is this the last one? No, Hassan. We're done for tonight. No, we'll be back next week at 8:30 on Tuesday. So guys, Mad Chatter, Patrick, Hassan, CBM, anybody else, Chad, Papa Mafia. I want you guys to give us a what if scenario. Come back next week of wrestling, something that if it did happen, and then we can talk about it. Like he had a good example of if Sting was in Ultimate Warrior's spot back in WWF time. That's a good what if. So next week we want to hear that from you guys, and we'll chat about it. I think we have a good conversation. So that's all. Until then, I am, as always, Dr. Love. And this guy here, I can't do without him, but we got Sauce Bronson. And you
And
guys,
on that note, oh, go ahead.
you go
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy pro wrestling, enjoy life, and remember, most importantly, be safe, be healthy, and be good.